Why is there somebody coming down here? Pretty chill guy. That was a cool interaction. You never know how it's going to go. Might come down and kick you out. You can't be down here, but then that guy was cool. Son had a Gixxer 750 he was telling me about. So welcome back to Garage Hooning. Today, if you watched my post on the other things, you know it was supposed to be, this week's video was supposed to be a big Aprilia versus Triumph, the battle of the 660s. Yeah, well, that didn't happen. That did not happen at all. I showed up to that dealership to take the Aprilia 660 for a test ride, and turned out I had a rod knock. Really wish the guy I called and talked to about it would have told me about that. I wouldn't have wasted a whole day going over there. But anyway, here we are. Today's topic is a little bit different because despite the whole me going and looking at an Aprilia over yesterday, sat on a new one, kind of a, you know, cool looking bike, kind of a cool feeling bike. Definitely has a little bit sportier race position than the Daytona, but it just feels super cheap. Like for instance, mind you, bare stock, brand new bike. The left grip over here, you could just grab and twist. Like it was not adhered on there at all. So I'm going to stay away from the brand Aprilia because I think they're kind of hot, expensive garbage. That'll probably hurt somebody's feelings. But that's not what we're talking about today. Despite all of that, we're moving on. We're not talking about 600 class bikes today. Today, we're going to talk about leader bikes. I know. Everyone out there is going to be like, you don't need a leader bike. I know. Nobody needs a leader bike. But you know what? I'm American. Therefore, I am addicted to consumerism and always want more. Now, the big question of the day is what leader bike do you pick in today's market? Because, my God, there is a lot of them. There's a lot of options. There's some that are very, very expensive, and there's some that, you know, aren't too bad. There's kind of looking through the class of leader bikes, there's kind of like, we're going to call it two classes. There's going to be like the base model leader bikes, which are, I mean, still very big, very powerful machines. They're all right around 200 horsepower. But then there's like the super sport class, which that's going to be like your Fireblade Triple R's, the Kawasaki 10R. I don't know if Suzuki's got anything in that class, but then like the Ducatis and the S1000s. And we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about those bikes too, because frankly, I think I'm going to avoid the super exotic ones. Oh, shoot. You know what we forgot to do? I made a discovery yesterday. We're going to do this up at this stop sign. Hopefully there's no traffic. And I don't know if it was due to the great folks over there at BT Moto or what, but if you turn the traction control off on this bike, it becomes like a completely different animal. Really annoying on the Triumph, though. You have to come to a dead stop and then go through the actual menus here. Hold on. Menu, bike setup, TC, disabled, okay, and then we're good to go. So yeah, if I don't know what they did, but if you turn the traction control off on this bike, it's like putting it in race mode. It makes the power comes on so much faster. It's ridiculous. If you want to get your bike tuned though, go check out btmoto.com. Use code HOON82 to save yourself some money. Helps me out, helps you out, helps everybody out. Everybody's happy. And you got a tuned bike. And they friggin' rip. I cannot believe the changes that handheld tuner made to this bike. But back to leader bikes. We're gonna not talk about the super sport, you know, exotic bikes, because frankly, where I live, getting parts for the exotic bikes, I have learned by owning a Triumph, which I don't really consider Triumph an exotic brand, but there's only one Triumph dealer anywhere near me, and they're a pain in the ass to work with. So I think we're gonna avoid talking about those bikes, because frankly, I don't even know. I think there's one dealer around that sells BMWs, and I'm not looking to spend $30,000 on a motorcycle. I don't know about you, but I'm not. Very cool, but I think they're a little overhyped. Same with the Ducati. There's only one dealer around me that can sell Ducatis and work on Ducatis, and I'm not doing that. And then Aprilia, they're just hot garbage. I learned that yesterday. We're not buying an Aprilia. So I think we're going to talk about, let's see. We have Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, and another one that you may not know, but Buell. That's a very interesting one, because the Buells, frankly, are a little outdated when it comes to tech. I understand that. But when you look at the power numbers and the weight and everything, they're right up there on par with all the other leader bikes. They're 190 horse, and I believe they make even more torque than, say, the Ducati V4. They're a pretty wicked machine, and absolutely like no rider aids. They have traction control, and that's it. No road, no modes, no nothing. It's just you and 200 horsepower and I think 110 foot-pounds of torque. Now, why do I bring up Buell? Well, that is because Buell is actually made and manufactured a half hour away from where I live. They're right over in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I've toured their facility, and it is an awesome crew of people. I would really, really love to own one of their bikes. However, I'm running into an issue with Buell's, and that's the insurance on them, man. I don't know why, but the insurance on a Buell Hammerhead is more expensive than on a Ducati V4. Oh yeah, that's not a cop. I thought that was a cop car behind that red truck. I'm like, oh shit. But yeah, back to the insurance topic. I'm not looking to pay $200 some a month for insurance. It's absolutely absurd what they want for those Buells. But there's another bike that I did get to look at. Actually, I got to look at a couple a little bit closer. The Suzuki's, I looked at one yesterday. I'm just not a fan of how they look. I'm not a fan of the stigma that goes with them. I know not everybody's the Gixxer flip-flops tank top bro. I wouldn't be that for sure. I do gear most of the time while riding. I'm just not a big fan of the aesthetics of them. And frankly, there's no point to buying a bike if you don't like the way it looks. I think that was raindrops. Is there rain down there in the windshield? No, we're good. I'm just not a huge fan of the Gixxers. I'm not a big fan of how they look. The riding position on them kind of feels more road-based than the other ones, I would say. You're definitely more down in it versus up on top of it. The only bike on this list that I have not got to see in person, unfortunately, is going to be the R1. That's because the damn R1s are as rare as they freaking get. I don't understand what is Yamaha doing. It seems like that they just keep the supply down low on all their bikes so they can just charge an outrageous amount for them. Really frustrating. I would love to see an R1 in person because I think out of the leader bikes, they honestly sound the freaking coolest. That crossplane just sounds insane. That deep, rumbly, grunty noise that they make. Another bike that I got to look at was the Honda CBR 1000RR. Not the Fireblade. They didn't have one of those, but just the regular one. And they're I don't know, man. Like sitting on it, looking at it, there's just like nothing to write home about. But I mean, that's what you get. You're getting a Honda. You're getting a good, reliable bike that's going to be quick, and it's going to get you from point A to point B no matter what. That's kind of what Hondas are known for. They're just known for being really great all-around bikes. And frankly, like, I didn't get to ride it and tell you that. I haven't rode any leader bikes. I want one because, again, American and consumerism, I'm plagued. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't tickle my fancy. Didn't really tickle my fancy. Now, there's another bike that I got to look at yesterday, which kind of intrigued me a little bit. Really did kind of intrigue me, which I've seen them online and never really cared for them. The ZX-10R. I've seen a lot of pictures of these bikes online, and I've never really cared for the look of the sunk-in headlights, right? They've always looked a little funky to me. I don't know why. They just look... they're weird. They're weird. And I think I figured out why. So I was doing a little bit of Googling and searching, and what makes them actually have a much better look is there's some companies that make winglets for them. Now, I know everyone's gonna be like, you don't need winglets to ride your bike around on the street and blah 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 blah. Listen, I'm not here to go fast on tracks and do that kind of thing. I'm here to look cool and have fun. That's what motorcycling's all about. Feeling like you look cool and having fun. Now, people out there are gonna disagree with that, but 100% of you out there care about how your bike looks. I don't care who you are. Nobody out there rides a motorcycle and goes, I don't care how it looks. You all customize it or bought it because you like the way it looks. That's the fact of the matter. Anyway, when you put winglets paired on the front of one of these bikes, it actually kind of makes the front end look kind of cool. It makes it look very aggressive and sharp and angular. I think that's what's missing from a regular ZX-10. It adds more to the front, and I think that's really what it's missing. I think it makes it look a lot better with a little bit of winglet action going on. I'm not going to deny, though, I think out of this whole class of bikes, I think the R1 definitely takes the cake for looks. I mean, that thing, oh, God, they look so good.
they look so good, and they sound so good. They're such a nice bike, but my word, they are impossible to find. There's a couple like used ones around, but that's another weird thing when it comes to leader bikes. There's there's a couple of good deals here and there that you can find on Marketplace. But if you go to like a dealership, like for example, there is a ZX-10 used one for sale near me, which I might go take a look at, not today because it's gonna rain at some point soon. But they want damn near what a new one cost. It's marked down like $1,000 from what a brand new one would set you back. And frankly, I just don't see the point of buying a bike that's got almost 6,000 miles on it for $1,000 less than you could buy a brand new one. I'm not entirely sure. So I'm kind of like narrowing my thoughts down to the ZX-10 or maybe a Buell Hammerhead, or frankly, I would buy one of the EBR 1190 RXs, I believe they are. So in like 2014 to 2015 is around the time frame when EBR came out with the 1190 RX. Now, there was a bunch of weird financial things that happened with Buell, and essentially they got bought out by new people, and the Hammerhead they're making today is nearly identically the same bike as what the EBR 1190 RXs are. Now, you can find some of those around used for a pretty decent deal, and that if I go the route of getting a Buell or an EBR, that would definitely be the route that I take. This guy's got a wooden tailgate painted to match. That actually looks pretty freaking legit, I'm not gonna lie. That is some craftsmanship. He even put the Chevy logo on the back. That looks pretty damn legit. But yeah, so if I was gonna go the route of a Buell, I'd probably get one of the older EBRs, because one, it's just kind of cool that they're well, the EBRs weren't made here in Michigan, but the new Buells are. And yeah, it'd be really cool to own a piece of history. Now, however, what is kind of holding me back on that is, frankly, the lack of tech on it, because, well, how do I say this? I think on a 200 horsepower bike, I would like to have tech. However, on like these smaller 100 horsepower bikes, really, I just want ABS and that's it. But I think on a bigger bike, I would like to have a little bit more tech, especially while learning, and I'd like to have the ability to, turn it off down the road if I want to, which the ZX-10 has that ability. And another gigantic plus for the ZX-10 is the new ones come with freaking cruise control. I don't know about you, but where I live, it's like an hour trip to go anywhere fun and have a good time. Riding this bike an hour, my hand goes numb. I would love it so much if I could just take my hand off and cruise every now and then. Oh, it would make the world of difference. I would really like cruise control on my next motorcycle, as well as a quick shifter. I've become kind of a pansy, and I enjoy having a quick shifter. Not using the clutch going down the road, going fast, really good time. Which, both the Buell and the ZX-10 have the ability to have quick shifter, so there's kind of they're even there. Let's you know what I should do? I think we should do a compare and contrast. I think we've narrowed it down. We're not gonna consider the Gixxer, because frankly, I'm just not a big fan of the Gixxer. We got a bike up here. I don't know what it is. It looks like an MT-07, maybe. Yeah, let's do a little comparison here. So we're gonna whack off the old Honda CBR, because frankly, it's just not exciting enough. And as a consumerism person here in America, I need something loud, exciting, and really in your face. What else do we got? So we're gonna whack the Honda off. We're gonna whack the Gixxer off. We don't want those. Frankly, as much as I really want a Yamaha, the fact that they're so rare and there's just, I don't know, gives me bad vibes. What do we got on here? What up, buddy? That is an MT-07. Hell yeah. But yeah, it's rough because I really would like an R1, but my only option for buying an R1 is a used one, and it does appear that every bike around me has a bajillion miles on it. So we're narrowing things down to pretty much going to be the Buell or the ZX-10. Now you may say, well, if you're going to do that, what are you going to do with the Daytona if you do buy one of these bikes? Frankly, I'm going to keep the Daytona. I have a dream lineup of motorcycles in my garage, if you don't out there ride, you won't understand, but every motorcycle kind of does things differently in different ways. Okay, so in my dream lineup, I want a 1000 Super Sport that's no thrills, all go, and just, you know, party time. We're here to party. I would like a comfortable, fun to ride around town 600 to do little things like this, which, I mean, check that box. We've got one of those right now. This Daytona is an absolute treat to ride around town. Are you gonna stop? I think you are. Good. And then I would like a long road trip kind of bike, like an adventure bike or something in the lines of that. I haven't really decided. That's a whole nother bag of worms to open up. We're not going to get into that. But anyway, yeah. So I'd like 1000, a comfy 600 to ride around, and an adventure bike to go on longer road trips with, as well as, yeah, no, I think that's about it. I think 3 bikes in the garage lined up would be a nice little arsenal to choose from on the daily. Yeah, so let's get back to comparing the Buell and the ZX-10. One, I think the Buells might look a little cooler. However, I believe the ZX-10s, even though they might not look quite as good, I think they're going to have more wind protection. Just sitting on one, seeing how the windscreen and the shape of the fairing of everything is, I definitely think the ZX-10 is going to be better for doing stuff like that. Ooh, we have an airplane that might take off. We're going to hang out back here and see if that guy takes off, because I don't know about you, but I love me some aeroplanes. Let's see if maybe he comes up and like chit-chats. Ooh, yeah, we do have one taxiing right there. Going neutral. Neutral. There you go. One's going that way, so that means they're going to take off going that way. I love aeroplanes, man. They're so cool. I got really big into playing a flight simulator a couple of years back. Such a good time. I really need to get back into that. But yeah, so where were we? We were comparing the Buell and the ZX-10. The Buell, I think, has the coolness factor. The fact that it's made over here in Michigan. Not a lot of people know what they are. You're going to pull up to, you know, a stoplight, or you're going to pull up somewhere. Someone's going to see it, and they're going to go, man, what is that? And then it's going to be a good talking point. Now, the ZX-10, at least in my area, would probably also be a pretty decent talking point. Granted, I think a lot of people are going to be aware of what it is. However, in my area, there's really not very many sport bikes, and the ones that are 600s. So I think a 1000 even around my area over here would be kind of a pretty good talking point. People would enjoy it. We're going to get into the tech. The ZX-10 definitely takes the cake with the tech. And the biggest thing for me is the cruise control. If I was going to get a ZX-10, I would definitely get an ABS model, because, frankly, I just like having ABS. I like not having to worry about losing traction in the front wheel. That should be a topic for a whole video. I think losing the front tire is the most dangerous thing about any motorcycle, just riding any bike. Frankly, you can lose the rear end a little bit and recover from that, but losing traction on the front and recovering is kind of, well, I don't want to say impossible, but very difficult. So yeah, the ZX-10 is going to win on the tech. I would say that the Buell would win on looks. However, after seeing that little ZX-10 with the winglets on it and changing the whole dynamic of the front end, I don't know, man. That does look pretty cool. That does look pretty cool. I have this like sort of vision in my head that getting one of the KRT editions, which have all the gaudy ass stickers all over it, but the main thing is they're green underneath, and you can peel all the stickers off and just have a solid green bike, which I think that one by itself looks pretty cool. But if you pair the solid green, this is my vision that I have. You pair the solid green bike and then do carbon accents all around it, I think that would be mucho money. Mucho money. But and then they also have, I looked at a all blacked out one. The thing that sucks about that is they're like a flat black, and keeping those clean and shiny is, well, impossible. Impossible. I have a black car and I hate it. Looks really good when it's clean. It only stays clean for an hour. Sitting in the garage, it just collects dust, and then it's like, well, there goes that. Especially being like a flat black like that ZX-10 was, it would show every little scuff and scratch, and yeah. Let me know what you guys think. If there's anybody out there watching this that does have a leader bike, please comment down below and tell me, you know, give me your opinions. You know, maybe there's a bike that I'm not considering.
I know that we didn't really talk about the exotic ones. You know, Triumph's got their 1200RR, which is a just gorgeous bike, super powerful, but I'm really just running into the issue of owning the exotics, and like the aftermarket support and the parts support is very difficult. I do not want to get rid of this bike. I love it. It's a ton of fun. There's not a ton of them around, so it's a, you know, one of those good talking points. People see it and they want to know what it is. But I don't know, man. I think the BMW S1000s, there's just a bajillion of those. That's just an Instagram bike at this point. The damn Ducati V4s are just expensive. That is a sweet little Golf, man. That is so cool. Sorry, my ADHD brain. Plane! Squirrel! Look at him go! Hi, buddy! You have a safe flight. I'm really leaning towards either the Buell or a ZX-10. Yeah, if you guys have any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, throw them down below. Let me know. I'll get back with you. And who knows, maybe the next video we'll go and look at a ZX-10 in person and maybe take it for a ride. That would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? That would be a lot of fun. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace out.